Huddy Sports presents a live Huddy production. Keep up to date, huddysports.co.nz.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning, from quick fixes to full renovations. He's got the tools, the team and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Higton Funeral Directors.
Don't leave it up to someone else to tell your story. Do it now when you can enjoy being part of the conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gnhigton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui, Huddy Sports captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club Rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro.
Duos like?
Having the last word.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here.
And Cassie Murphy.
And with G and Hickton Funeral Directors, you can. With a prepaid funeral plan, you can make it as relaxed or as formal as you like, with music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
Let our family care for your family. For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to gianhickton.co.nz/pre-planning.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning, from quick fixes to full renovations. He's got the tools, the team and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. Tēnā koutou katoa, nau mai haere mai, and welcome to St Patrick's College Silverstream for a traditional day action here between the two Marist Fathers colleges here in the capital city. St Pat's Silverstream against their older brothers, St Pat's Town. St Pat's Town have not won here at this ground since 2015, which was a semi-final. Silverstream were well ahead at half-time, and then Town rallied back to win, and that year they also went on to win the first 15 premiership. So it's been 10 years since they won here, and 10 years since they won the first 15 premiership. Joining me in co-commentary today is Adam Julian and Phil Cartonet. Adam, your thoughts on the game today?
August 19, 1931 was the first game in the storied rivalry. It was 0-0 at half-time. St Pat's prevailed 18-0 with Jared Gleeson scoring 2 tries. Since then, they've met on 91 occasions. Silverstream enjoys an overwhelming majority of success, 67 wins as opposed to 19, the last of 5 draws in 1986. But this year promises to be a compelling tussle. St Pat Silverstream, unbeaten in their last 13 premiership games, top the table, and they've scored a staggering 343 points in 6 games. But St Pat's Town not far behind after an initial loss to Wellington College, 18-13 at Evans Bay Park. They've won 5 consecutive games and head into this encounter with 283 points scored and only 87 conceded. Phil Karteni is with us this afternoon. Phil, we were at that Wellington College St Pat's Town game earlier in the season. It was a monumental tussle. Town narrowly lost. What do you think they've learned since then?
Yeah, thanks to Adam Brady. I think conditions are a little bit different today. I think the boot might be called on if the game is close towards the end. This is 2 versus 3. Auckland has Kings and it has Grammar. We have both the brother schools here now, Town and Stream. I think we're in for a pretty physical battle. Opening collisions are going to be really, really important in the first 5 minutes. There may be a little bit of overhyped teenage testosterone going, as I like to call it, where the ball can probably be freed on the outside, but I think collisions will be aplenty in the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Weather conditions here today. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Upper Hutt. It's been a lot of rain in the Wellington region. At this field here at St Pat Silverstream, there's only been 3 games on it this year, and it is looking an immaculate picture. Both the colleges with their tunnels out onto the field. It's not only just rugby here today, there's a sports exchange between the two. And there's the football game in the background. And also basketball's just started as well. More importantly, the one I used to compete in the most was the road race. And good to see Silverstream run the road race today.
Certainly can't compete in that anymore, Brad. Look at this beautiful postcard imagery. Bill English has played on this field. 13 All Blacks have played on this field, including recent graduates Asafo Moore and Peter Larkai. St Pat Silverstream have had internationals from Scotland, Italy, England, Ireland, Samoa, Tonga, and most recently Fiji, with Salisi Rayasi debuting against the Wallabies, scoring a try. Who could ever forget when he scored 4 on this ground against the national champion Scots in 2014? But today is about St Pat's Town, and they have 13 All Blacks, and a recent graduate of theirs, Billy Proctor, is currently in the All Blacks. And in that last win that they had here in 2015, Billy Proctor kicked a penalty goal, and that was the difference. 23-20, a win for St Pat's Town. It was 20-8 to Silverstream at halftime. They scored 4 tries to 1, but were toppled when Proctor and Xavier Numere, another prominent Hurricane, had barnstorming matches.
As we await now the 2 teams to come out onto the field. Our referee team today is Matt Perry, 17 Premier games in the capital city, originally from the Wairarapa, and he'll be assisted by Steve Newson, who recently brought up his 100th Premier game, and also Matt Thomas, who referees the Jubilee Cup final next Saturday.
And Matt Thomas is part of the folklore of this game. In 2020, awarded the penalty try from the end of the world, which won Silverstream the game by 26-17. What happened was Town were leading. There was a kick and chase by Silverstream, a collision at the halfway mark, and Tom 50 metres with his hands in the air and signalled a penalty try, and then Riley Higgins scored the last as Silverstream won a meritorious victory in 2020. The last time Town won this game was in 20 at Evans Bay Park, and Luca Belushi, the captain of Porneki, scored a try that day. And Luca is a lad you know a lot about, Phil, and tell us more about some of the other personalities in the Town team.
Yeah, Luca Belushi, I mean, he basically played for the Italian under-20s. He's been rock hard for us all season at Porneki, or we're going to the semi-final this week. Not to mention, I had a message from Waylon Tuhora Robinson, the halfback for Hutt All Boys and captain. He's an extreme boy, and he basically just called this the Field of Dreams, and it's going to be the Field of Dreams for a number of players today. Going into the lineups here, people I want to see get the ball in their hands really, really early. Anton Fortuveve has been really, really strong in the midfield, combining with Domin Metric. I think they're going to be a telling tale of how they get the ball early into Charlie Carter, Zach Kimmins, and Ashton Hamer's hands. I think St Pat's strength is in their back three and their returning, their kick returning ability, basically. And to St Pat's Silverstream now, you've got the ever busy Elijah Solomona, who basically I've never seen him play a bad game. He turns up every single game of the week, and we've also got Kingston Hill back at number 8, which is really good to see him back with the ball running. Fletcher Cooper, who everyone knows, will probably control aspects from first 5, and let's kick long and play a lot of field position. But as we mentioned before, this is the Field of Dreams. It'll be the Field of Dreams for someone today.
Field of Dreams as well. back in 2022 at Evans Bay. St. Pat's Town won that traditional first time since 2010. Different weather conditions that day it was. Different story here today. It's a bit of a southerly breeze here, so that probably favour the team who will kick off first as we eagerly await both teams. Bit of a long intro here.
Still unsure as to who's running which direction yet. I've had a coin toss as far as I'd imagine, but the Silverstream tunnel always sets up on the northern side. That's not an indication of which way they'll be playing either. Yeah, quite a strong southerly left to right. Kicking will be very important out of the Haas. Axel Dakin, they're looking to put some box kicks up, make them contestable.
Well, you can hear the cheers. St. Pat's Town coming out from the southern end, and St. Pat's Silverstream from the northern end down the bank here at Silverstream number 1. Silverstream being led out by Elijah Solomona, co-captain alongside William Davis. Number of caps here in this team. The Old Boys Cup on the line today. It's been in the hands of Silverstream for the last 2 years, Adam Julian.
It has, and resoundingly so too. Last year, 50 points to 5, Silverstream won this game. Drew Berg-McLean scored 4 tries. Drew, this year, went to the Pirates Club in Napier and contested the Premier Final on Saturday. His side lost a remarkable fixture by 47-40. Riley Higgins won his second Napier championship to go with the Jubilee Cup. He too played in this game in 2017 and 2018 when Silverstream were victors in both the traditional and the premiership. And look at that rowdy reception for the St. Pat Silverstream first 15. It's almost like they won the game before it started.
Yeah, Drew Berg-McLean combining with his old teammate up there. Good to see them making the final and still playing some footy. If he was still here at Hutt Always, he'd have finals to play this weekend also.
So let's get set, folks, as we have the Hakas on display here with the schools behind their first 15s. Rousing start to this traditional for 2025. St. Pat's Silverstream hosting their older brother school, St. Pat's Town. Silverstream founded in 1931. Originally, the city school was going to move everything out here, and at the 11th hour, they decided to keep the city school open. By then, though, all the uniform, all the magazine, etc., including the rugby jerseys, had all moved out to Silverstream. So technically, some would say that St. Pat's Town had to start again.
The 2007 Welsh All Black standoff here at the moment. No one wants to be the first one to move. Referee's blown his whistle. As noted, there's 15 caps on the ground for St. Pat's Town, which shows the level of experience going to this game. Rousing Haka led by Chorus Taylor Lafale for St. Pat's Town, and we had Ethan Lepole. St. Pat's Town, St. Pat's
Line out, they were almost hoarse in the chanting of those Hakas.
You think the stadium was probably a tactic to relieve some fatigue there. Haka's going for a long time, but we love them.
Here's the manager of St. Pat's Silverstream, Belinda Davis, picking up the caps and the trophy alongside John Herbert, the assistant coach. Let's have a look in that huddle. What's the message being probably given there, Phil?
I think just to stay calm, you've got to try and bring yourself back down to earth after a Haka. You've got to try and relieve yourself. So I think St. Pat's look like they're possibly going to kick off here, which means what we do next, we're getting straight into an exit St. Pat's Town. We're not going to throw the ball around. Let's just keep our hype down.
The only thing missing in the coverage of that standoff was Sergio Leone.
St. Pat's Town in the hands of Johnson. 15th game today for him for the first 5 for St. Pat's Town. Made his debut for the first 15 last year.
Yeah, athletically similar to Fletcher Cooper. Got a tall, long, rangy first 5. Position here. They'll set up right.
As we await referee Perry and Silverstream to get into position. Traditional day action. The big show about to get underway. And referee Perry gets traditional day underway with St. Pat's Town heading towards the northern end to the hands of Kingston Hill. And Fletcher Cooper, who was on the Huddy Hui last night, bangs this safely into touch for Silverstream. And the first line out for St. Pat's Town to kick off this traditional.
And St. Pat's Town will look to use their size initially to try and bully Silverstream. It's a massive front treble. 132 kilos, Taili McNamara. Akusatino's 125 kilos, and Connor Maxwell, the loose head prop, 100 kilos.
Onika McNamara feeds it in. Out to the backs they go of Johnson. Lapoa, centre field, right on halfway. Bundle down into the tackle from Silverstream. Good charge there that time there. Augustino.
Great carry.
And looking to get early points on the board here for St. Pat's Town. Silverstream, of course, this season in the Premiership, top of the charts, but a close one against Wellington College, which they won through courtesy of the drop goal of Fletcher Cooper. That traditional day, it's a different story, and getting over the top of that. There's the little halfback Dakin, I think, was it?
Yeah, Dakin got there. I like the opening exchanges there from St. Pat's Town, keeping the ball in the middle, trying to build some phases in St. Pat's House. But Axel Dakin, fantastic over the ball. First man there. I think someone missed their clean out. It might have been Kafatolu.
He's a live wire, Axel Dakin. He played magnificently in the treacherous conditions of Wellington College. Kingston Hill was missing that day, and Silverstream's loose forward made 2 strong tackles in that surge by St. Pat's Town, where Akusatino was prominent, and he really is the most destructive presence, the tight head prop in this Town team. 32nd game this afternoon.
Dakin fires it out to Cooper. And they've got the penalty advantage to play with as well.
Hill.
Dakin. Yet again as they look to charge it forward. Good work there by Donika McNamara. Coming for Dakin as he finds Davis. Back to Cooper again, stretching out wide. And they go down that short side.
Kerry Lockie Jackson.
And we'll come back for the penalty.
Yeah, a couple of collisions there. I think Donica probably just got his height wrong as second man in. But first initial collision on Kingston Hill was brought above the sternum.
Fletcher Cooper has signalled for a line-out. There was a possibility for a shot at goal in the 6 WellTech Premiership games this season. Cooper has scored 20 or more points in 4 of them. That is an absolutely superb touch finder. Silverstream with a line-out, Embankment side 5-by-5. Late change at lock, Phil, I understand, for Silverstream.
Yeah, looks like we had a shoulder injury to, who was that to? That was Ryder Thompson, wasn't it? So he's just recently named in the under-16s. Zach McGurran comes in.
Oh, overthrown. Picked up by Ethan Lapal, the kick down. Just inside their 22. They look to advance again. Dakin trying to get over the top. Back down to Johnson and Davis. Watch. Careful, he's got a winger right behind him. Wrexham pace there. Davis. Centre field with Tuival. Silverstream just trying to get through this town defence, being pushed back roughly about 13 metres inside their own half.
That was a very important tackle by Castley, the halfback, on Davis Lenz, building it up through McGurran. Cooper dummies to his left, takes a coat hanger tackle. Accidental slip from Maxwell. So that's an immediate penalty and nothing further.
Yeah, just beaten by footwork there. I think Fletcher Cooper had some line speed coming at him. Stepped off his right, just got a lazy hand, that was all. Great kick earlier on, though. I think that was Charlie Carter. He found wide open spaces, and track star Zach Cummins was after it. And it is a yellow card.
Well, it's gone to the pocket early.
It's more of a arm across the chest, maybe a bit of a...
He's not an antique, Fletcher Cooper. He's a very talented player, but that call is a particularly harsh start.
Such as Fletcher Cooper's character, I'd perhaps probably even say he'd disagree with that yellow card.
That is Maxwell spending time in the bin for the next 10 minutes here. They had a busy holidays as well as playing against St. Bede's last week. He was also part of the New Zealand under-18 Maori camp last week.
Yeah, very dynamic prop. They lose a prop now, so this will be interesting at scrum time, but also they lose a lifter in this line-out. Increases the options for St. Pat's stream.
Unfortunately, we're going to have that line-out done again, as Kingston Hill was ushered into the line-out by Matt Perry.
Tall timber by Taliepa there. He'd go to him every day of the week at jumper number 2. And commentators curse to go elsewhere.
Yeah. Now they put this drive on. Gaining good metres here as they approach the 22. At the back there with Riley Brown. And Brown, look at this drive go. This is an impressive display. Town have got to be careful they don't give away a penalty. But look at this drive go. Brown's got it there. They get it out quickly to the backs. Cooper. Back out to Manu. They got the penalty advantage to play with as well. Just over the line. Can they get it down? Perry says so, and it's try time. And it looks like it might be Manu that scores.
And that's the cousin of Peter Larkai, an absolute steamroller on that occasion. Silverstream won the line-out from outside the 22, and they sailed like a chariot down the embankment touchline. And that's what happens, Phil, when Maxwell, a big frame, and the St. Pat's Town team is removed from the equation.
Yeah, unfortunate piggyback penalty there. Got them into their half. St. Pat's Town going straight to Manu, getting the ball in his hand straight away. And as we coaches say, first and second action need high effort. His first action to run onto the ball was extreme, and he managed to get a lot of metres after contact there. The momentum took over. He had to work really hard to get that ball down.
And then he threw the ball emphatically into the surface. He's lucky that didn't hit the head of a Town player. Had it done so, he would have been in the sin bin as well. Well and good that the testosterone is flowing after such a muscular try, but petulant behaviour like that in the in-goal area could have resulted in a higher sanction. Referee has set a tough tone early, and so Silverstream, Brad, it's 7-0 after 5.
Excellent start by the home side. Fletcher Cooper, that was his 98 points for the season so far. 4 tries, 33 conversions and 2 penalties for Fletcher Cooper in the premiership this season. The restart by St. Pat's Town, down to Tuival, 5 out from his 22. 6 in from the embankment touchline.
St. Town could just bark themselves down here and bleed some cock or get their man back.
That's a thunderous shoulder by Akusatino.
Here's Cooper. Bangs it down. Just short of halfway, and here goes Carter, wrapped up by Tuival. Silverstream counter-ruck. Town have got there just in time. No, it's been stolen, has it? Referee Perry has ruled that Silverstream knocked it on. And now here we go, scrum time.
Tuifel, what an effort. Winger on prop. The brother of Connor Tuifel, Tony Rugby Club. A very mobile forward family.
And look at that heavily bandaged right knee for Heath Tuifel. That was superb athleticism.
Yeah, considering the injury toll he's had this season, he's been quite unlucky for such a good player, but we're happy to see him back out in the field.
Of course, both the brothers, Connor and Heath, both wear pink headgear. Connor, of course, was the captain of Petone this year.
Now, what does St. Pat's Town do in the scrum here, Phil?
Well,
Given
the replacement was just made, so they've taken Kafatolu off at number 8. They've brought Tangawai on at prop, just to kind of level it out. Now, Augustino and Tangawai will hold the scrum as best as they can, but they need to free the ball as fast as they can also.
Tangawai is the most experienced of the Town players. 33rd game this afternoon. He's 136 kilos, according to the figures that Paul Bracewell supplied before the game. Paul's son, Tom, is jumping in 4 for St. Pat's Town, and he's 92 kilos in year 12. 12th game this afternoon. There's a dozen year 13s in the St. Pat's Town side, and the rest of them are year 11s and 12s, so it's still a relatively inexperienced roster.
Unfortunately, we've got time off as he's going to Perry talk to the front rowers for both teams.
Not sure where Elijah Solomon is going at the moment, but it seems to be something technical going on. Time is off the clock. We'll give St. Pat's Town a little bit of breathing room. They do need to readjust here. They do need to stay in this half and for long periods of time and bleed this clock. We're 8 minutes away from getting their man back.
I'm feeling it could be just something thrown to him from the bench.
Possibly mouth guard.
Possibly mouth guard, yes. Yeah. So must have got to not put that in his sock before the game.
With how physical Elijah plays,
I saw Caleb Delaney yellow carded for not having a mouth guard in at a national under-19 semi-final. That's definitely something that you have to monitor. Sorry, Phil.
No, the orange peel trick doesn't work anymore. You don't get away with a lot. But with how physical Elijah plays, he's probably lost one on the field, and that does happen from time to time. Play gets underway.
So Jaden Casely with the ball in hand. 19th game for him today. Only 72 kgs, a little whippersnapper halfback for Town. And we're going to have another reset. Always a bit hard when the player is Simbin in there from the front row, but this is this level domestic safety laws. They both have to have 7 on 7.
Yeah, St. Pat's be looking for here. If there's another stoppage, they could go to free kicks. They'll probably want to get play underway as fast as they can. Stop these big St. Pat's forwards folding out of that scrum and getting in the D-line.
Akusatino removing pseudo mud from his boots. He might go down and tie his shoelaces up. This is excellent time wasting from St. Pat's Town, given they're a man down.
Great coaching, great tactics.
Now a stable platform as it's fed in by Kesley. Good push by Town. Now it's in the hands of Johnson. Centre field looks to pass, but unfortunately takes into contact himself. 7 inside Silverstream territory. Ball's come back. A good charge here by Chadwick. And they've been penalised. Holding on again.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quaid there didn't quite find his front. Went straight into the staple, which allowed the Jackler to get on that ball almost immediately. What a quick turnover. Wasn't much time surpassed, basically, before the penalty was called. So.
And it's the little halfback again, Dakin.
Dakin, strong over the ball, very quick athlete.
Silverstream have won 3 breakdown turnovers already. And here's a charge down that could have led to chaos. Good chase by Dakin. Again, he's everywhere.
Zester's little Dakin at the moment. Previously played for Upper Hutt College First 15 last year. Made the move to Silverstream. And flourishing under the coaching of Cal Davis, John Herbert, alongside Fred Ferretti and Nick Cooper. Stolen that line out time by Silverstream into the hands of Dakin. He's been wrapped up well here by Chadwick and Fitzimanu. charge again by Manu, the early try scorer, and great defence by Town.
Akusatino and McDemarataili combined 257 kilos with that wallop. Here's a touch of finesse and a knock on by Silverstream. So Town, midfield 25 away from their own line.
Kick goes down. And that's going to go safely into touch, but unfortunately, Adam, he didn't rule it a knock on. He called it a high tackle from Davis.
Yeah, probably a little bit unlucky there. It was just in the collision, the competition for the ball, basically. I don't think there was any real foul play, but there was possibly some head contact, which does need to be penalised and put under control. But great kick downfield to get them out of trouble there, St. Pat's. They're doing well with this man in the bin.
Interesting decision for Silverstream here. No, it's not, because it's a Town penalty. My apologies.
Town with a better part of the wind in the first half. They probably want to make use of it. It's all about field position while you're a man down.
Well, one each for the teams.
That's an offside.
He
Knock
dropped
on
the ball
offside.
too.
Yeah, and he's ruled it too. You called it, Phil. Knocked on by Davis. Unfortunately, the man in front picked it up, and that's the penalty. Any day of the week.
Very hard, though. I think there was Lockie Jackson. I mean, once the ball pops into your hands, you can't not let go of it. It's player instinct, so just one of those things.
So 13 minutes gone, 7-0 to Silverstream over St. Pat's Town. Here on traditional day. Great crowd here as well too, as well as all the other sporting matches on. There was an old boys rugby game on before. Many players over the years, former rec players playing in those games for both teams.
We had Fizz Paulo playing today for St. Pat's. He's a current professional, so
He's still playing for Hutt as well too.
playing for Hutt Old Boys, semi-final this weekend, Jubilee Cup against Parramatta Plum. So good to see him playing an Old Boys game on the week of the Jubilee Cup semi.
Here's Tuival stolen from the line out. Good charge by him. Free outside, and a break
Dakin.
here by Dakin. Who's there for at the moment is this little whippersnapper halfback, Dakin. Like a Formula One car, charges into the 22.
Great chase by Cummins.
Under real pressure now as Kingston Hill rolls out of the tackles. 12 away from the line. Pass out to Cooper. Tuival. Finds Abraham Smith. 8 tries in the Premiership this year for Abraham Smith. Centrefield on the 22 now. Good counter-ruck here by St. Pat's Town, and they've got the turnover.
Tangawai made the smashing tackle and then gobbled the ball up.
Seen some big hits in this traditional early.
Dom Metric with that assist.
Lapal made it getting through. Now it comes back to Johnson.
Been passed back.
Back there safely as Cooper. Plenty of time and space. He likes to run the ball, and that is what he's doing, folks. And he's over halfway. And a good tackle that time there by Ford. Town defence has been impressive considering that they're down to 14.
Yeah, that break made by Dakin before. You're just missing that prop at first defender. He found his way through, but there are two guys you don't want to run into at the same time, and it's McNamara-Taylor and Augustino.
That's a beauty of a kick.
Excellent work by Cooper. Johnson just had to watch that one bounce. And he bundles out of the way, steer. And the arms out again. This will be for a high tackle.
I want to play here. No advantage.
Oh, this is a great play here by Town. Unfortunately, the pass is too high. Referee Perry rules a high tackle.
They're not far away from getting Maxwell back now. And Town look to drive the ball into their half and keep bleeding this clock, but they're playing very well, holding the ball for long periods of time. It looks like their decision making is kind of, they're taking the 50-50s away, apart from that last play there.
There's an openness about the first quarter of an hour, which isn't typical in these games. Usually they're doer struggles to start with, but Silverstream have made a number of searing breaks. Town, despite pushing passes, have looked promising with the ball too. And if some of those larger figures in the lower numbers begin to get fatigued early on, there could be a lot of points in this game. Perfect autumnal conditions here.
Yeah, there's still guys that haven't had many carries yet. Taylor Lafale, chorus for St. Pat's Silverstream. Once he starts getting his legs going.
Concern for St. Pat's Town. That's the third line out they've lost against their own throw. Silverstream coming up trumps. But they've been turned over. So Town's winning the counter-rucks at the moment. Now 11 metres inside Silverstream territory. Gaining good metres here, Town now. And they've got a penalty advantage to play with as well. McNamara charging forward.
It's like Kafatolu's back on, so they're probably back to 15 players now.
It's a Manu taking that into contact. His father, Nick, played for the first 15 at Town from 1994 to 1996.
New Zealand Schools, 1996.
Schools.
Yeah.
Johnson catches Jackson running up. Goes into touch.
Great.
But referee Perry's coming back for the penalty.
Really loving these touches from Johnson. He had under a little bit of pressure to perform against Fletcher Cooper today, but he's really taken charge of his team. With a kick like that, you can trust him any day of the week to have the game in his hands.
He's a good young player, is Gia Johnson. Dakota Silva, the replacement at first 5/8, was somewhat ropey in the Wellington College game. Johnson provided the opportunity after that, and he seized it with both hands. Town, their only blemish since that Wellington College setback was against St Bede's, 33-31. And it would be remiss not to mention the Holy Shield, which is a contest between the three Catholic schools. Silverstream, the current holders, but if Town win today, they'll take ownership of that prize. And the other thing that's worth mentioning in the Holy Shield tradition, as Johnson steps forward and propels the kick up towards the post and sends it sailing through, is the retirement of the great Jerry Davidson from St Bede's. Jerry was involved with the first 15 for 28 years, and under his stewardship they won 5 Canterbury titles, produced several top-class players, including All Black Elliot Dixon, who's the current coach. He had 253 wins as a first 15 coach. The great Jerry Davidson, a part of this Catholic rivalry.
Interesting, the Holy Shield was only resurrected just over a decade ago. It was found in a cupboard needing urgent repair work, and a lot of investment was put in from the Old Boys Associations from all 3 schools to resurrect and redo the shield, and it's a beautiful shield now, the Holy Shield. Here's St Pat's Town, 10 out from their 22, crashing forward. 7-3 is the score, 19 minutes gone here. Traditional day at Silverstream. Here's a good run here by Carter. And he flicks it out to Kimmins. He's well known for his speed. He's a McKivity champion at the 100 and 200 metres as well. Zach Kimmins.
2 turnovers at ruck time there.
Both teams in particular, Phil, losing the ball at the breakdown.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see them probably crawl out and find their front a little bit. They're going straight into a staple, and their Jackals just taking the ball. Dave Smith losing the ball behind him.
Knocked backwards. Smith still going. Rolls out into the tackle. There for Dakin. This back out to Cooper. That's a good rush up there by Chadwick to slow down Cooper. And here's a break here by Hill. Infield. And that has got to be Elijah Solomona that scores the second try.
Well, it was good work in the lead up to that try from the centre three-quarter, Abraham Smith. He fumbled the ball backwards and managed to keep oxygen in the movement, bustling strongly towards the embankment sideline, buying time for support and attracting St Pat's Town defenders, and then it went through the midfield, and that was rather soft defence by St Pat's Town, but Solomona and Hill are destructive ball carriers, and Solomona, the captain, has yet another try on the Jack Gleeson Oval.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quade Travick rushed out of the line, which probably left a hole somewhere. 2 defenders had to jam on one man, and Kingston Hill found his way through to put away Elijah Solomona. I think if you're going to bring that sort of level of line speed, you can't go in ones, you've got to go in 2s and 3s.
Version successful by Fletcher Cooper. 14 points to 3 the score. 21 minutes gone here. Traditional day. And
This match has significant ramifications on the WellTech Premiership. At the moment, Silverstream are on 29 points, one behind Wellington College, who've played an additional game. St Pat's Town on 26. These two sides jostling for a top 3 place, and that, folks, is a shot pigeon.
certainly is. And it'll be a scrum centre field for Silverstream.
Yeah, big defensive effort here. Jen Johnson, not the kick that he wanted, obviously, but can't live in the past. You've got to move on, find a way to play positive rugby now and try and defend.
Of course, Phil, you worked with a lot of these boys last week with the under-18 program, which was up at Maidstone Park.
Yeah, Hurricanes under-18 program. It's good to see all the boys from the entire area, actually. But, yeah, large following of Town and Stream boys there. Also coincided with the Wellington, the New Zealand Māori under-18, so I didn't see a few of the boys there away, which were Connor Maxwell and possibly a couple of others. But also worked with the under-16 boys last week, and large showing of them. Fletcher Cooper, Isaac Snelly, James Mackey, Mea Oli Mahai, Oakley Timir, Ryder Lange, Ryder Thompson, Thomas Ward, Troy Waldrum, Vaitupu, and Zion, all making the under-16. So a large number of depth here to come through the last year. I know we did mention there are a large number of year 13s in this side. So I think the depth for Silverstream's going to be fine for the next couple of years.
Scrum there went past the 45. Another one of those domestic safety laws. So a reset here for Silverstream. I remember a few years ago, Adam Julian, Silverstream had one of the most impressive scrums 3 years ago. They're absolutely dominant. And then they got clamped down on because they kept going past the 1.5 metres.
That was a very imposing team. Toby Mellon, who's playing so well for Parramatta Plymouton, captain of that side. There was also Ben Kershaw, who's been a brave stalwart for Batoni. Here's a blindside attack from Silverstream and a tomahawk of a tackle. That's another high shot from number 11, it appears, Kimmins.
Not ruled any further sanction. He was very quick to give out that yellow card for at the start of the game.
Probably a very high level of force in that one too. Yeah, the energy looks like St. Pat's needs something special to happen, and they need a momentum-changing effort.
It's difficult for St. Pat's Town at the moment. They've had a relatively straightforward run after that Wellington College loss. Massive wins, including 50-5 over Scots College, 89-12 over Tawa. They look deflated. Another concession here puts them in a very deep hole.
Here's Riley Brown, the hooker for Silverstream. He's had a strong season. He's secured well there by Solomona as they bring it down. Here's Solomona again. Rampaging form 2 years ago. They put him in the midfield. He's gone back to the flanks the last 2 years. The older brother, Manuel Solomona, was a midfielder here. Dynamic player, excellent boot as well. Plays for the Upper Hutt Rams.
Semi-final gets Marison Pats on the weekend for the Harden Cup.
Oh, building up nicely here again. They're 5 away from the line now. Silverstream hot on attack with momentum. To the hands of Moananu. 4 away, Tuivau lunges! Just short of the chalk. As they look in. Looks like it's on the hands of Hill. Town defence under pressure. Now they come out to the backs. Cooper. Here's William Davis! And he just gets it down in time. He scored it. No, he scored that one.
So the assistant probably got unsighted there. Initially
Our
fell on his
cameraman
back.
James is the best in the business, and he has captured a try. Let's Will Davis with language that his mum might not like to hear. Goodness me, we must stress that this is subject to human error, this game, but boy, there's nothing we can really say about that try that wasn't. It was a try, folks.
Yep, where we go from the goal line dropout into the hands of Solomona.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like the try had 2 efforts to it. He initially fell on his back and then tried to find his front.
Hill. Strong tackle that time by Ethan Lapau. So coming for Dakin. Out to Cooper.
I don't even think Alistair Campbell could convince us that wasn't a try.
Here's Riley Brown. And Riley Brown crashing through. Rampaging like Dane Coles over the line. And this time it's a try for St. Pat's Silverstream.
No. Running like Asafo Moore. His brother Chris scored in this game in 2016, and that was fantastic.
They found a seam line. Unfortunately, Charlie Carter in cover wasn't able to make that tackle, but interestingly enough, Fletcher Cooper getting his hands on the ball more now. Every single phase, he's swinging around, he's getting more touches, and he's starting to take over this game.
That's a big blow for Silverstream too, because they could have been unsettled by that disallowed try, but ruthless mindset took the ball in from the dropout and clinical execution. And this St. Pat's Town team, they look deflated and troubled. How can they rally themselves, Phil?
Probably just need to get back to what they did in the first half, just hold the ball for long periods. They were disrupted by the yellow card. We're probably about 8 away from the half-time. If they can get to half-time now with no more points scored, they give themselves a fighting opportunity at 3 scores down.
It's breaking the game into small moments, isn't it, Phil? You can't obviously think too far ahead because it's a daunting deficit to overhaul, but no points before half-time, perhaps some points of your own, even little victories, big tackles, powerful runs. St Pat's Town on the canvas, but not to be discounted, Brad.
Not to be. The pass from Johnson went back first before it went forward, so under the laws of the game, that is allowed. And the short side they go through Kimmins. And he's been bundled into touch, and so Silverstream have the line out, just outside their own 10-metre mark. Western side of Silverstream, number 1.
You can't fault the effort there. It looks like the back three are trying to get their hands on the ball a little bit more. Probably a little bit too flat to be clearing the ball across the field that much, but they're looking to try and add something, trying to find some sort of momentum shift.
Successful line out. The hands of Cooper, growing in confidence throughout this game. Manu with the charge. Oh, knocked on. So Town, from the knock on there by Zach McGurran, look to lunge forward. They've got the advantage to play with. They're 4 away from the 22. Can they get their first try of the match? Trailing 21 points to 3. 7 minutes to go in the first half. There's Johnson back out to Kimmins. Unfortunately brought down that time by Hammer.
I think a score here makes it interesting.
They've got an advantage to play with as well again. 3 away from the line now. This is what Town teams like to do. Pick and go amongst the forwards. 2 away from the line. Silverstream defence being tested. And another penalty to play with too.
Could be a card here. 2 in the red zone.
We'll come back for the penalty. And that arm was out for 3 different sort of infringements there. He's not giving a word. They're going to go for the pick and go. Good charge here by Augustino. Now they go again. Oh, they're just short of the line. Kafatolu at the back. Looked a little bit high there, but play on is the call. Fitzamanu. Oh, just narrowly short of the chalk. And this man loves scoring tries. That is Donika McNamara Taili. That is his 5th try of the premiership.
Yeah, 3 ball carriers here. Donica, Yoangi Augustino and Wade Kafatolu. But that's what you need to do. Put phases together. The ball will change in a positive way.
That's a fantastic response by St Pat's Town. One mistake, is that the catalyst for a revival? Taili McNamara spearing down low like a submarine to slither over the paint for his 5th try of the season. He was in the Wellington under-16 tournament team last year at the Hurricanes competition. He's in his 2nd year in the first 15. His dad, Peter, coaches the second 15, and he's in the huge Maori and Pacifica Cultural Festival on Friday. And then, folks, we've got Jubilee Cup semi-finals on Saturday and the Wellington Saints in the final on Sunday. You can't beat Wellington, as the expression goes.
Great to see them open up their edge attack down there. They were just doing one-off runners. Remy Fitzamanu backdoor pass. They opened up that edge with 4-2 Veve. Cummins carried down the sideline and they just got going with their pick and goes.
Just what they needed, St Pat's Town. We've heard a try to get back into this game. 21 points to 10 with 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Bounce.
Oh, bounces awkwardly. Picked up for Silverstream. That afternoon sun starts to come out here at the number 1 ground. Silverstream charging forward. Looking to get another try before the break.
Town defenders sitting on their heels here. You're going to invite ball runners if you do that. You've got to come forward and stay on your toes.
Hill out to Cooper. Cooper rolls out of 2 tacklers. Still going. 3 away from the line. Here's Tuivau again. Town defence Under pressure as Silverstream look to charge towards the chalk. Dakin reaching in like a forensic scientist. They'll get the penalty. We await the secondary signal from referee Perry, not rolling away as the call. If you're Silverstream, probably put down a scrum here, Phil, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd say the level is, the strength of their scrum is very good, but it's more so the fact that it's about 15 in from touch, so they've got double edge here that they can attack with 3 from half time. If they can hold position and take points here, it'll be devastating. Unfortunately, Town, not the kick-off reception that they would have been after scoring points. You've got to find a way to secure that ball and get rid of it.
You're looking here at Adam, what Silverstream called the scrum. What do you think they're going to do? Run it off the back with Kingston Hill?
He's been explosive to start this game, has Kingston Hill. Smith is at centre. He's been elusive too. There's a lot of space.
They've loaded their left
on
edge
the right
here.
side.
They could be going right. Cooper stood up on the left side.
Watch for Dakin to snipe as well.
Dakin gives it out to Cooper. Cooper, good offload. Out to Taylor Lefau, and that is Silverstream with another try.
They did the complete opposite to what I suggested. That's why I wasn't in the first 15 when I went to this school, Phil. But that was a really smooth try scored by the second 5'8" Taylor Lefau.
Yeah, Taylor Lefau, Johnny on the spot. Look at Fletcher Cooper beat first man off a hot step, drawing 2 defenders, and then after that it's just a space game.
26-10 the score. Fletcher Cooper's conversion attempt, 5 outside the 22. 5 in from the embankment touchline. Town, they're just shell-shocked at the moment.
He's got this gliding running style, Fletcher Cooper, that reminds me of Stephen Larkham actually. He just seems to ghost into holes and have more time than most other players. It looks so easy for him. That wasn't necessarily an easy try. There was a lot of traffic on that short side for Town, but Silverstream threw like a hot knife in butter. A rare miss from Cooper's conversion attempt, 24-10 with a minute before half-time.
Yeah, as we start to see in the modern game, multi-sport athletes start to feature a little bit more in rugby. They've got a different skill set. It's very hard to profile and defend them, and great footwork there from the ex-basketball player.
So Johnson with the restart. This time kicks it down to Cooper into the 22. And he'll just belt this down towards Carter, the fullback. Carter, he's not afraid to run it either.
Ashton Steer.
Well, unfortunately the arm's out for a penalty. Awfully high penalty count in this first half.
St. Pat's Town need points here. This is going to close out the half, so they need to throw something.
Here's Fitzimanu.
He's been strong in the first half, Fitzimanu.
Good charge here again by Augustino. It's been ruled a knock-on, but we're going to come back for that penalty. Ashton Steer, he's ruled it a high tackle.
You mentioned Nick Fitzimanu. That was a golden era for St. Pat's Town, 1994 to 1996. The 96 team won the Grand Slam, which is all 5 inter-schools, 20 of 26 games. And then the next year, under Jerry Collins' captaincy, 15 wins in 19 games. And the last time that Town actually won the Old Boys Cup fixture on this field was that year, 20 to 13 in 1997. So they could write a book similar to the Iliad if Town can rally from 24-10 down here to win. And they look good, Phil, with those one-off carriers around the corner.
Yeah, that 1997 team had legends like TJ Toltua, Peter Crichton, Jerry Collins, Joe Fasavalu. Very high caliber, high positional players in New Zealand schools at the time. Drove the ones in competition. But yeah, I think ball in hand, get men around the corner, the same 3 ball carriers who are making massive meters after contact. Does it get back to their game, St. Pat's Town?
Well, Cooper taps it and kicks it into touch. And so that'll be half-time here at St. Pat's Silverstream. It's the home side ahead of St. Pat's Town here on Traditional Day. We'll be back in 5 minutes, folks. Welcome back to St. Pat's Silverstream halftime coming to an end. It is 26 points to 10. Silverstream ahead of St. Pat's Town. There's a few areas for Town to work on, Phil, particularly when Stream get into their 22. They're coming away with points.
Yeah, I think maybe just jamming on one ball carrier. There's plenty of talk and plenty of pointing as to who they're taking. 16-point lead isn't the end of the game. They can claw one back, and if they're first to score, this will change the dynamic of the game.
Second half underway. Change here with Tangawai coming on. Change in the front row for St. Pat's Town. The arms out again in favour of St. Pat's Town. And this is a great charge here by Town. New halfback on as well. Tiohani Hoon on for St. Pat's Town. A bit of a change of direction and momentum for them.
Got Dakota Silver in at 10 as well.
Dakota Silver, he got off to a strong start in the season for St. Pat's Town. Picked up an injury against Scots. So it's good to see him back out there. Here's Fletcher Cooper finding open pastures. Carter's racing back. Oh, he's done well to keep that in. Kimmins is under pressure. Unfortunately, the Silverstream player's gone off his feet. And that will be a penalty.
Charlie Carter did fantastic there.
Well,
High risk giving the ball in field, though.
It was risky from Charlie Carter. He was aware of the fact that it would have been a 50-22. He obviously had sight of his colleague, because if he'd batted that ball back in and picked it up, the Silverstream picked it up rather, it would have been a Billy Slater.
Picked into touch.
You need a little direction now. You got Dakota Silver there in at 10. I need you to jump in at 9, so their combination goes back to... Get line out time now.
Well, it's gone out the back, and here's Tangawai charging up. Right on the 10-metre mark now. Town with early possession in the second half.
Kofatolu, nephew of Matiaki Kofatolu, well-known Petone man.
Well inside Silverstream's territory now. There's Tangawai again. Big impact coming on in the second half.
There's all St. Pat's need to do. Time of possession.
Oh, they got the break. And unfortunately, loose ball and picked up that time by Abraham Smith.
Rocking shot by Ford Tuvevi.
Vivi, very strong defender. Stream go out the back here.
And they got plenty of space here as they put on the charge. This is a great run.
It's Riley Brown again.
Oh, geez, he should be playing on the wing. Gives it out to Jackson. That Jackson, like a spear, goes through.
Yeah, went out the back there, found some space down that right edge. Pionisi Patu just beaten for pace here by a Haka, and that's no Pionisi Patu's no slouch on his feet. But Ashton Steer fighting that seam line back on the inside and going under the posts.
The handling and speed of these contemporary forwards is something to marvel. It was Heath Tuiafau that engineered the overlap with a slight touch of hand. Fletcher Cooper's vision finding the prop in midfield where there was space outside of him, and then it was a beautiful pass across to Riley Brown, ferreting 40 metres, and Brown so composed like a midfield back, linking with Ashton Steer, and that's Silverstream's 5th try. And as the conversion is kicked by Cooper, that makes it an almost insurmountable 33-10.
Yeah, unfortunately for St. Pat's, they were building really well. It was about 12 face attack. They'd made about 30 metres, and just the unfortunate offload opportunity there. Probably could have found the ground, recycled again, caught all the stream forwards offside. But not to be. Regardless of the score, you've still got to play positive football. I think St. Pat's will try and play deep in their half now and chance their arm a little bit more.
So here's Silva with the restart. Not the start they wanted. Oh, it's worked out for them. Unfortunately, they've knocked it on. The Silverstream electing to play with the advantage. That referee Perry puts an end to that, and so it's going to be a scrum for Silverstream.
Chance here for Kimmins down that sideline. And Lepole just couldn't quite work out who was going to pick it up.
Sorry.
Some changes coming on.
Silverstream running, doing the changes now. It's about 3 players coming on.
So Blake Miskell's come on now at halfback. Teddy Cooling comes onto the wing. Son of Andy Cooling, the real estate agent for everyone in the know looking for a home.
Subject of real estate agents, Derek Tyler was the coach of the 1986 Town First 15, who were unbeaten in 21 games, and the only game they didn't actually win in that sequence was a 20-all draw against Silverstream, and the 2 captains ended up flatting with each other at Otago University in Dunedin the following year, and they bought a dog and they called it 20-all.
Any a strange thing happens down there.
His ground begins to rip up a little bit. Positions on the feet, probably a little bit more testing now at scrum time. Game starts to slow. 30 minutes in this fixture for St. Pat's Town to try and be the next team to score. Doesn't look like Stream look like they're exiting here.
So here we go. Blake Miskell, new halfback. Year 15 at the college this year, feeds it in. Solid, fires it out to Cooper. He kicks it high up into the air. Here's Carter underneath it. But Cummins, if he needs, he decides to run it. Two-stepping goes through. He's been brought down right on halfway.
Abraham Smith, a very good defender. He tackled stoically in the Wellington College game, averted a number of potential crises for Silverstream.
Another penalty advantage being played here. Not rolling away.
Yeah, probably the counter-attacks would probably like to see the ball get to boot a little bit more, force the kicking exchanges and wait for a mistake. You can't just carry everything to the outside and try and back your pace with inside leverage on defenders. They'll always have the angle to shut you down, as Abraham Smith showed with his experience in rugby league and rugby union. He's a well-known defender.
3 Year 11 students in today's backlines in the starting 15. Cooper, who's been so influential for Silverstream. Ford Tuvevi, 87 kilos already, 8th game at 2nd 5/8 for St. Pat's Town. And Ashton Hammer, who's hardly seen the ball but can really motor.
Ashton Hammer, surf lifesaver, so very fit.
And it's been stolen yet again at line-out time by St. Pat's Town, by Silverstream. 12 away from halfway. Kick down.
Left
And that's
foot.
gone out on the full.
Yeah, Mitch Cooper, good inside pressure there, forced to his left foot, not the favoured boot, and it's gone into touch on the full. So this gives St. Pat's Town.
It should be.
It should be, yeah. Yeah, there's a favoured left boot, it's got both feet. St. Pat's Town now in St. Pat's Stream's half. They'll look to build here. They need to be the next to score and just keep themselves in touch. There are other games to come. There are top 4 matchups to come. There's plenty of rugby to be played.
There's a good variation. Lupo at the front of the line-out, but Silverstream caught him, held him up. This is a congregation of bodies. The oval heading nowhere, and then it emerges for Silverstream. Cooper employs the right foot this time. Ample space. Carter hurrying across, collects the bounce, approaches the 10-metre mark, spears a kick into midfield. Space for Davis Lenz. He sails to halfway. He gets walloped by Patu.
Silverstream driving now. 6 inside Town territory. As Miskell finds Cooper, who kicks it through. And that is gonna hang in there. It's just gonna go over the touch and goal line. So we'll go all the way back to where it was kicked from. But he's been trying to be quite creative and clever here now, Cooper.
Yeah, the right option was there. I do like the gamesmanship of trying to back yourself into the half again after you've kicked to try and force a referee decision. But no, the idea was right, just probably didn't execute.
More substitutions happening this time for St. Pat's Town. Looks like Donika McNamara Daly's afternoon has come to an end.
Alessius Patai comes in now. Can't quite see who else we had coming on.
Fatale looks like he's been substituted.
Herman Tuiatua, which is a very famous name in the St. Pat's jersey. A relative of Tui, Ben and Seal Tuia. All worn the St. Pat's jersey with pride. Had many a game.
Many of them still playing as well too.
Yeah, no, Ben and Ben's still playing. We played against him in the weekend. Very strong athlete. Not a guy you want to run down an edge with if you've got no support.
On the subject of still playing, our very accomplished cameraman, Tamati Richards, is filming for the rivals today, Sky TV. Need I remind you that we've set up a Give a Little page to recruit Tamati back to Huddy Sports. We love him and we love the work that James is doing as well. These pictures live, free and exclusive to YouTube.
There we go. Finally, the front rows come together, fed in well. Solid platform. Silver does well to pick up that low pass. Big charge run here, this time by Patu.
Brother of Wellington 20s winger. College.
Right on the 8 substitutions for Town, making a difference. Here's Tangawai. Atut Lapau. And now they're going forward again. They charge forward.
Gets up and go again.
Oh, they've been penalised.
Knee probably did touch the ground. I'd probably argue that he wasn't held. Unfortunately, the ball goes against them. They're making good inroads there, St. Pat's Town. The sort of footy you want to see them play, regardless of the scoreline. Stitch Cooper drive stream back into the half. They look to take points here.
Now, we saw something really remarkable in international rugby on Saturday. South Africa deliberately manufactured a line-out style maul in midfield that led to a try against Italy. You know, Father Matt Durning, coach of the most successful ever Silverstream first 15s, unbeaten sides in 1953 and 1955, pioneered the winger throwing the ball into the line-out. What innovations can we think of in 2025 that rival that spirit? Perhaps Tamatama Nawai off the back of the scrum for the All Blacks? Some ideas from Phil soon.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the South African line-out lift in the midfield. I think it slows the attack down, if I'm being absolutely critical. I think it's more for the shock and awe tactic from Rassie Rasmus. Puts the defenders in two minds.
Here's Miskell. Big out to Thompson, who was actually down to start for St. Pat's Silverstream, but changed because he picked up a little niggle at training last night, but he's out there now.
Unfortunately for Ryder Thompson, recently just named the under-16s. Took a bit of line speed there. Can't see who the defender was, but forced him to drop in the ball. To make up for that effort now in scrum time.
Axel Dakin replaced at half-time. He was absolutely superlative in that first half. It's hard to hold a candle to the cold July sun. Axel Dakin, superb game.
The remnants of Derek Haka there of South Africa can play wing as well. He's a very, very quick track athlete. Not often you get a halfback who can run that fast. I'll know that being an ex-halfback.
Leroy Carter, another one who can play halfback on the wing for the Chiefs, must be close to All Black selection. Now on Saturday we have more schoolboy rugby on Huddy Sports, Brad.
Yes, we do. But St. Pat's Town and Rongotai, that's the first 15 traditional between those two. From Evans Bay Park at 2:30 and also Wellington College in Tawa at 2:30 as well. So 2 games here on Huddy Sports this Saturday. Here we go, Silver. And they take it through to Patu. Oh, great offload to Carter. And Carter down the short side, gives it to Cummings, and he's been bundled into touch. And that's the signs of what St. Pat's Town are capable of doing.
Ashton Steer with the cover tackle, but Patu has added real electricity for St. Pat's Town, and Tangawai has remained on the field since the Maxwell yellow card early on. He's arguably been their best player, number 17, but tell us more about Patu, Phil. He's been extremely lively so far. Yeah,
North's junior, playing the midfield all his life, but with a brother like Hayden Patu, you can imagine what the backyard competitions look like. Very quick on the outside, very experienced player and very calm player. Just like to see Charlie Carter get off his hip a lot more like that, a little bit Christian Cullen-like, and they see the defence open up. Great tackle there, Ashton Steer. Had to recover there, he was caught off guard, and had to make up ground on Zach Cummins, who is no slouch on his feet.
Now, what's your innovative rugby move, Brad?
I've always been a bit of a fan of the winger throwing it into the line out. I think that's always a Fantastic one. I always used to like how you used to be able to get a free kick, and back in the day, be able to drop kick it over from the free kick. Not to be anymore. Well, Carter was the player that was down injured there, but he's back on his 2 feet, so that's good. Successful line out for St. Pat's Silverstream. Just inside their 22, healthy crowd here of students and also old boys from both schools. And rugby folk alike here, watching this first of Dean traditional. Here's Cooper. And he'll bang this into touch. There'll be a line out for St. Pat's Town. 7 away from halfway.
And he can kick off the left foot. We saw him shank one earlier, but that was a beautiful strike. Of course, his drop goal to win the Wellington College traditional will long live in the folklore of Silverstream rugby. Only year 11, arguably the most talented 10 to come through this place since perhaps Chase Tia.
Simon Mannix, another one as well.
Well, Simon Mannix had a colourful history in this game, Brad. He won it 48-6 in 1988, part of a Silverstream side that won 24 out of 25 games, including their traditional Grand Slam and Wellington Under-19 Championship. The next season, the coach of that side, Father Mark Walls, transferred to St. Pat's Town, and he remains the only coach to win the Grand Slam at both schools. And Simon Mannix played in the 1989 Silverstream Town game and unfortunately had what one might label a shocker, and Town prevailed. Town achieved a third of their victories in this fixture. Between 1980 and 1991, they had a golden era, 214 wins in 257 matches, and some magnificent players like Brendan Reddy, who played for Samoa and coached the first 15, Mana Otai, who played for Tonga, Elton Moncrief, a long-time Wellington halfback. These guys, even though they're down, have a responsibility to preserve that reputation too.
Massive scrum by Silverstream. Now they've got it into the midfield. Here's Davis. Gives it out to Teddy Cooling. Town look to try to get over the top, nearly getting the turnover. Miskell, that time Thompson. Low pass, couldn't pick up on it. And we'll come back for the scrum. The game's just starting to lose a bit of shape here, Adam, at the moment.
It is, but that can happen when the reserves are introduced, and number 17 is also on for Silverstream, Vaitapu, and he's built like a block of flats.
Another year 11.
Sorry.
He's another year 11, yeah.
Another year, unbelievable. Tangawai is from an accomplished rugby family, Brad. His sister is a Blackfern, and Sapati Tangawai will be involved in the Jubilee Cup semi-final on Saturday. Huddle Boys Marist against Parramatta Plympton. Johnson Voltawa. Phil coaches Pornecki. What's your pick in those games?
Well, geez, depends on the track, really. I think Plum kind of showed their hand when they played on a dry track out at the Hut Wreck a few weeks ago. Isi Korsumavai kind of run rings around them. So Huddle Boys probably look to the... I don't think they make that mistake twice. I think they hold onto the wall longer. Javel Tawa, anyone's guess, really. It's going to be a heavy ground, but Javel are hot with momentum at the moment, and Tawa coming off a week off.
Town wrestling towards the 10-metre mark.
Someone's lost their boot.
Yeah, boot's gone flying. All the position in this heart for Town. And now they cut through. Just outside the 22 now. And Town get their second try. Charge here by Tuiatua. Oh, great pass out to the run there for Patu. Now they charge
the biggest
again.
Cinderella you've ever seen.
Yeah, picked up here by Hunt.
He was nervous on the first 8 there. He dropped the ball as he thundered through, but that boot that you saw fly 30 metres in the picture was Akusatino. Perhaps he was thinking about that drop goal from the mark that you preempted earlier, Brad.
Lucky it wasn't a red boot.
There's still probably worried times here for St. Pat's Stream, and we're not looking at the scoreline here, but St. Pat's Town are breaching through the middle there, right through the heart of their defence. Probably want to tighten that up as we get into more close contestable games in this competition.
Yeah, so here we are, Herman Tuiatua. Only year 12. Promising future ahead for him. First with Dean Rugby. And unfortunately, it has come back in favour of Town. Another messy line out. And they look to go again through Bracewell. And unfortunately, they've knocked it on. And Silverstream will come up with the scrum. But the line-outs for Town today, Phil, been rather messy for them.
Yeah, I think I'll probably add a little bit more movement, maybe slip a jumper. I think it's probably just too easily read. St. Pat's Stream have a fair bit of height advantage on their side with Taliepa. Good timing to get off the ground. So probably perhaps some variation we saw earlier in the first half there, Adam, that you like just going straight to the front jumper, something a little bit more unorthodox and hard to defend.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle, that line out for Town. It was such a big forward pack. It's a real blemish because they could have used that as a platform for much good in their game.
The strike coming up. Teddy Calling running a skinny off Fletcher. They go around the gate.
Oh, here goes Fletcher. Cooper finds the gap. He's over halfway. Gives it out, but unfortunately knocked on there by Newton. But yet again, they managed to rush up the Town defence and the gap's opened. That pass connected. That would have been another try for Silverstream.
Yeah, well, that's where the threat is. Fletcher Cooper, outside edge speed, managed to get around the gate. And two down runners managed to hold defenders and open up that space. Unfortunate pass could go to hand there. I think that was Ashton Stair. It's unlucky to hang on to that, but still enterprising play at this time of the game. It's still 15 to go. St. Pat's Stream probably expect to score a few more points here at the moment, so they'll be disappointed that the points have kind of dried up a little bit second half, but testament to St. Pat's Town. Not going to die wondering. They're not going to give up. Padu seems to get himself more into this game. He probably want to get the ball in his hands. He's shown the most enthusiasm to carry.
So here we are. Scrum again for Town. 8 inside their own half. 55 minutes gone in this traditional. 33-10 Silverstream over St. Pat's Town. Beddon, and there's a penalty.
But Vaitupu.
And Town not keeping straight, but Vaitapu coming up trumps there. Part of that Wellington under-16s program over the school holidays.
Yeah, the guys like him and Miaoli Maai, very big rugby players, great players coming through in terms of the Wellington ranks. Plenty to be excited about the next couple of years, especially here at Stream where they both play.
Cooper bangs this into touch, and that's another beautiful kick.
Silverstream want to finish this game strongly, Brad. They have St. Pat's Town in a noose, and they'll want to apply the explanation mark. The biggest win they've ever had in this fixture was 52-10 in 2018. They won on this ground 50-14 in 2004.
There's a very high chance of meeting again in semi-finals too in this Wellington competition. So
secured by Solomona. Now they drive forward. Oh, it's another try for Elijah Solomona. Excellent work there by the flanker for Silverstream.
He's having a wonderful season, is Elijah Solomona. He scored a try in the Rongotai and Wellington College traditional successes. Silverstream play 6 annual traditional fixtures each year, and they're on course to win 5 of those in 2025. They were beaten soundly by a very good Palmerston North boys high side. Palmerston North top of the Super 8. We saw them play Wellington College in the school holidays on Huddy Sports. They won that game too by 24-22. This Saturday they host Rotorua boys, win that, and Palmerston North into the Super 8 final. In Auckland, a magnificent story with Liston College, unheralded, never been to the 1A top 4, 1 win away from the semi-finals. Fletcher Cooper kisses the upright, but 38-10 is a comfortable margin for Silverstream, who average a winning margin this year in the Premiership, Brad, of 57-7.
It's a comprehensive statistics there from Silverstream's season. Speaking about Palmerston North, not only have they got Rotorua, but they've got the Paulson banner the next week as well too, which they haven't won for 3 years. 2 draws in the last 2 years against Napier. Picked up by Silverstream at the restart. That is knocked on by said referee Perry. So the mistakes in the second half continue for both sides.
Lipu made the tackle and he's gone down with a possible suggestion of cramp, but he's been lion-hearted as St Pat's Town's captain, 25th game this afternoon. He's what you look for in a captain. You want the best players to be leading by example when even the score is tough. Evidently, one of the great highlights of this day, Brad, is that a lot of old boys tune in to watch the coverage, and allow me a small moment of indulgence to say hello to the recently married Daniel Pagoo, who's watching these pictures today in his government department job. We won't tell his bosses, but hello, Daniel. And hello to Alfred Tong, who was the celebrant of his wedding recently. Alfred the Ducks here in 2003, and an eminently better sports commentator than us, Brad.
Exactly right.
He was fantastic.
Alfred Tong indeed. Chess champion as well. Knocked on there by Silverstreamers Town. Cut it through with Zach Kimmins. Here we go, this is why he's a sprinting champion. And it comes off the hand of Cooper. But there wasn't a knock on before. It was hands in the ruck. Penalty for St Pat's Town.
Good breakout there by Kimmins, who's looked extremely lively every time he's touched the ball. And he was galloping away from Vaitapu. Vaitapu, that was like a sheepdog chasing a tractor on a farm.
The Town now. The line at 10 away from the southern end of Silverstream, number 1, 38-10.
We ended up taking the option there. Looks like the ball was handed out by Fletcher Cooper, so they had the option penalty back. We'll try and kick for the line out where they've got a line out already.
Tua.
And look at the glow off Steve Newson's head. 100 games this year for Steve Newson, a stalwart of the Wellington Referees Association. And this young referee today made some contentious calls, but he's got a big appointment soon, Brad. He's on the rise.
He certainly is. Line out unsuccessful again by Town as Cooper bangs us downtown and into touch. And so Town get pushed back.
Yeah, funny story, Monday night we had Wellington under 19 scenarios. The lights went off at 8 o'clock at Upper Hutt, and Steve decided we were going to carry on. So we had a few more phases in the dark.
And he refereed better than he did in the light.
Good test for the boys. Straight away told Liam Studd, extreme boy, to put a ball up in the air, because why not?
There was a game I was involved with Steve Newson, a semi-final between Wellington College and Silverstream in 21. There was a flood prior to the game, and Newson delayed the kickoff. Everybody else was on the field waiting to get involved. Newson wasn't even arrived at the ground yet, and he sauntered in without no warm-up and refereed the semi-final. That Silverstream won 33-32 on a last-minute Elijah Solomona penalty, and playing in that game was Stanley Solomon. And it'd be remiss not to mention the New Zealand under-20s into the final of the World Championships on Sunday against France.
Beating France, it was a massive achievement. South Africa to play for them. Here's St Pat's Town in the 22, searching for their second try. Here's Ford. Wrapped up well, 10 away from the line. They're looking to get this out quickly. Some of this fresh blood onto the field. Pass out to Augustino. Oh, look at him go.
Bashed into William Davis.
4 away from the line. Into the hands of Chadwick. Chadwick rolled metre short of the line.
Lucky there, Riley Brown at all rights.
Lapau, nearly there. Decided to tap it quickly. Pitsimanu at the back with the ball. They plug and go. It's Tuival. And Vaitapu right on the line. Savoy. Silverstream defence keeping them out. Battle stations at the ready. Here's Tuiatua. Oh, just driven back. Looked to lunge it down. Now they take it out to the backs. It's into the hands of Kimmins. And we'll come back for another penalty.
Want to see tap and go here. Keep Stream under pressure.
They go again. The captain Advances forward, but push back. Pitsamanu.
Riley Brown a tackle. He's played a blinder today.
Has he? What? Another penalty here against Silverstream. It could probably be a yellow card for them. Oh, they've got the penalty themselves.
Fujila Pole there went by himself. Didn't have support close enough that they could recycle their ball back. Desperation sets into the decision making. And Stream get out of trouble again.
Great work on defence. And the boot of Cooper. Bangs us roughly about 12 away from halfway. The embankment touchline here. 36-10 is the score with roughly about 7.5 minutes to go.
7 to play. I'd like to see Stream try and open them up here. There's plenty of rugby to come and they need to get their practice in.
So, Javan Hunt, his father Tui, well known in rugby circles, leads it into the line out. And the backs get ready. Here's Brown charging forward again. Into the hands of Cooper. Bends off Bracewell. Silverstream now 8 away from halfway.
So Jordan Russell made a huge impact in the Rongotai traditional score to try. Here's a chance for Town. A breakout by Ashton Hammer. Cooper in pursuit, but put the hammer down.
Ashton Hammer with the try. Second for St. Pat's Town.
Trying to put the ball through the line there. Probably wasn't the right option given the defence in front that was in front of him. It's rebounded back and Hamer's managed to pick it up and scamper home.
Well, that's what they needed, Town. 38-15 with the conversion to come. Just over 5 minutes to go in this traditional. Can they stage a late fight back? It's going to be a lot of work for them, though. Version attempt is successful. 38-17, the score.
You've got the silver, you've got the gold. To quote the Rolling Stones song, lovely kick by Dakota, who half time for Gia Johnson. 17, still 6 minutes left. Time for Town to possibly see a 4-try bonus point. 21 points though, Phil. Feels about the right margin on the weight of the game. Town's line out a real Achilles heel and Silverstream clinical in that first half.
Yeah, I still think probably both teams feel like they left points out there too, so there's plenty to try and play for this last 5 minutes. The scoreline probably accurately reflects how far apart they were today. Over the second half, a little bit more tighter than the first. Patu gets the ball in the outside.
And here's Cummins going. Gives it out to Hammer. Stewart. Now they throw it out to the backs of Cooper. And he finds some open pasture. Everyone back as Cummins to get that ball.
You want to have a go here, Zach?
Oh, he gets around the first tackle. He's still going. Here's Zach Cummins. Look at him fly. As Cooper slows him down. And a penalty.
Now he's on ground.
Now Town. They got some momentum up their sleeve. And here goes Ocostino. They're 10 away from the line now. Suffing another one. 6 away from the line now. They need to score quickly. Into the hands of Silver. Forward. Oh, the pass. Too loose. But there's another penalty.
Unfortunately, just needed to go through the hands there. Or to Veve. Under penalty advantage.
Satino can hardly walk. What a mammoth game he's played again. Went 70 minutes in the Wellington College traditional. Almost won the game with the sheer size of his personality. And he's lining up here for another charge.
Savoy, 6 away now. They pick and go again. Fitzimano at acting halfback. Building again. Stream trying to keep them out. Fitzimano. Held up on the tackle. About 2 minutes to go here in traditional day. Can it be another town here? He goes forward. Wiggles around.
He needed to release. He had Cummins unmarked.
And Silverstream have got the penalty. The turnover. Solomona looks like he's getting the pats on the back there.
Now, unfortunately, their high effort, just not the level of execution they were after. Silverstream under a bit of pressure there at ruck time. Great carries from St. Pat's Town. Augustino's on his haunches. He's put in a massive shift today. You can blame him. But it's about Silverstream, their ability to scramble and get out of jail.
Particularly on their line as well. That's the second time the holding on penalty has been given when they've been right on their line.
Yeah, quite often when you breach, your cleaners can't get there. High level of fatigue in the legs. And Jackler gets right on that ball straight away.
So here's Hunt again. Secured well. Now they take it back to Cooper, and he'll kick this safely into touch. And that is full time here at St. Pat's Silverstream, and they hold on to the Old Boys Cup for another year. They are your victors here today. 38 points to 17. Thoughts from you, Adam Julian?
St. Pat Silverstream extend their winning advantage in this game to 68-19. Town remains since 1997, and really Silverstream was quick to impose their superiority. They leapt out of the gate with 2 quick tries. There was some very solid forward play, especially from the hooker Riley Brown. He scored a memorable try, hit the target with the lineouts, unlike Town, who had a real issue in that department, and really that was a big reason why they struggled this afternoon. Outstanding from Elijah Solomona, Silverstream's captain, with 2 tries, and Axel Dakin in the first half in combination with Fletcher Cooper, clinical live wires, and Dakin particularly becoming a really important cog in this Silverstream team. If they are to retain their premiership title, he in many ways is more vital than Cooper, because he provides the speed in the game. And when Dakin departed in the second half, things somewhat unravelled a little bit for Silverstream on attack. St. Pat's Town, they can take heart from their finish, but their line-out wasn't good enough. Their defence in the first half wasn't good enough, but they had some really positive performers. Tangawai was introduced to proceedings early and was manful. Akusatino, he could hardly walk at the end of the game. He's always a colossal presence. Leopold, the captain, leads by example. And in the backs, it's a pity that we didn't see more ball in the hands of Cummins. He's really dangerous and a try scorer of great repute for St. Pat's Town. Silverstream, they'll be delighted with this success. It makes them 7 from 7 in the premiership, 14 wins in a row. They should finish top of the round robin with a relatively straightforward fixture to come. Town back to the drawing board ahead of Saturday's match against Rongotai, who've only had 1 win this season on Saturday. Last word from Phil Cartini.
Yeah, great effort today. I mean, coming into this weekend, we've got a number of matchups with the last 2 final rounds, which are going to be really, really important to how this table plays out. Who plays who in the semi-finals is what everyone's talking about with 2 rounds to go. But really, really impressed with some of the efforts today. I mean, St. Pat's didn't stop playing football. They kept trying to turn up and play. Chance St. Pat's Silverstream, really, really impressed with their resolve on their goal line. That's going to prove testament to them, to how they perform in the top 4 and who goes further in this competition after the one's competition is done. So, yeah, congratulations to both teams. Unfortunately for St. Pat's Town, not the result they were after. I don't think the scoreline probably ever actually reflected how hard they tried. But, yeah, commiserations to them. St. Pat's Stream, well done again. Johnny on the spot, Fletcher Cooper, directing play around again, and always impressing.
Many thanks to Adam Julian and to Phil Cartini for joining the broadcast today. It's been always a beautiful day out here at Silverstream on traditional day, but Silverstream are the victors. 38 points to 17. Many thanks to our cameraman, James Willett, behind the lens. And I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
Drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning. From quick fixes to full renovations, he's got the tools, the team, and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable, and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Higton Funeral Directors.
Don't leave it up to someone else to tell your story. Do it now when you can enjoy being part of the conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gnhigton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui. Huddy Sports captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club Rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.